This. Good morning, everybody. Just a moment here. My God, that is so good. How's everybody doing today? How are we doing? Good morning. It is time for Caliber Corner. It's 8 a.m. Central Time out here in God's country, Nebraska. And we got a panelist joining us today, which is always a good thing. Today, Season 5, episode number 243. And we thought to ourselves, wouldn't it be appropriate if we talked 243 Winchester? I went back through and typed in Caliber Corner and 243 in Google or in YouTube and did searches. And I don't think we've ever discussed this caliber before. I believe we've talked 270. We've done episodes devoted to 308, 30-06, 556, 762 by 51, obviously 308, 762 by 39, but never 243. So it's just one of those calibers that seems to hang in there, and it's been with us for over 50 years. We'll just go through a brief history of the caliber, talk about the ballistics performance of it. It seems like a lot of us have some sort of experience with this caliber, either when we were younger or as we got older, as it is one of the first centerfire cartridges I know for a fact here in Nebraska that younger people use when they go on their first deer hunt. Nothing wrong with giving your kid the 308, but there can be a lot of advantages to the 243, especially for varmint hunting, prairie dogs, coyotes. And if you're going to be taking repeated shots, a lack of recoil makes it an absolute honey of a round. But before we do that, let's go ahead and introduce Hillbilly Up / American Hillbilly, who's joining us today from the great state of Missouri. Is that right?
You bet, buddy.
All right. How's your weather this morning? Are you guys going to be hot and humid today too, or what? For you guys, going to be nasty out there?
Yeah, definitely a little hot and humid today.
Yeah.
Oh, I just got alert Caliber Corners on. I'm going to have to leave and go watch that.
Oh yeah, there you go. There you go. I usually have it running on YouTube in the background just to make sure it actually fires up and gets going. So, yeah, 243, man. It's just, you said before pre-show, you'd mentioned you have a little bit of experience with that caliber, so you're familiar with it. So,
yes, sir. When I was, younger and kind of grew up shooting guns, starting out with the single shot 22 Ithaca.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people might know that, but anyway, so as I got getting older, my grandfather's like, well, let's go deer hunting and stuff. So he actually bought me a Remington model 788, and so that was kind of my first deer rifle. And I wish I still had it, but yeah, it was an awesome, fun gun.
Well, a gun broker and an unlimited wallet, you can pretty much get whatever you want anymore. So, you can probably find one somewhere that, if you want to relive those memories.
Yeah, I think they had that was kind of the cheaper model, if I remember right. They had one that was a little bit better or, a little nicer or something.
Okay.
It did the job, man.
Well, I'm going to probably ruin it for myself because I want to buy another one. But a little bit later on, I'm going to let people in on probably one of the most underrated bolt-action 243s out there that a lot of people haven't heard of. It's been out of production for years. It is a Remington, so we'll mention that here in a little bit. But Hillbilly, tell us a little bit about your channel, man. If somebody goes over there, what are they going to find? What do they expect to see?
You'll find a silly old hillbilly over there just having fun, shooting some different guns. I mean, we like to shoot stuff. We're kind of on a quest to take out hard seltzer, White Claw and all that.
It's open season year round. I think there's no tag limit on White Claws. Is that right? You can pretty much hunt all that you want.
Yeah, you don't need a license or nothing to shoot White Claw.
No, one less White Claw makes me a happier person. So that's all I got to say.
We just try to have fun over there and
yep.
Display.
Oh, you froze up just a little bit there with your video, buddy. Oh, no.
All right, sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
Lights flickered for a second. So.
Well, it's out here in Nebraska. I got to have the donkeys walk around in a circle just fast enough to keep the electricity going. So, it's...
You betcha.
We got that little crick. We got that little crick out back with the paddles going around that spin, and that kind of keeps the lights on here. So... And we got this newfangled thing called the telegraph that we use to send these things called, messages. So, yeah. Yeah. No, man, that's cool. I'm glad to have you with us. And, feel free to jump in on the discussion anytime you want. And like I said, I didn't know how many people would make it in today, but it's a fun topic. A lot of people have memories of that caliber, and it was maybe their first deer gun or they've had a chance to shoot one. And it's amazing just how inexpensive you can get a 243 bolt action rifle. Put some meat on the table,
Yeah. maybe like is there gonna be some people in there? It's like, oh man, a 6.5, Creedmoor or something. That's the way to go. So, there's a little bit of a I won't say a controversy, but it's like some people's like, well, I'd rather have a 6.5 Creedmoor or something like that.
And I've shot that before too. That's a wonderful round. Yeah. But it's for 50 years we didn't have 6.5 Creedmoor, so it's old habits die hard, and it's hard to want to give up that caliber, especially when you're looking at rifles and you could get a 243 or a 308 or a 6.5 or a 30-06, and they're all the same MSRP. Now you can spend $400. Which way do you want to go? And maybe you want to go 6.5 Creedmoor just because of that ultimate and ballistic performance it offers on the back end versus 243, which can kind of run out of steam in terms of its lethality past, say, 300-400 yards, depending on the round. But no, I don't blame you. Yeah, I've owned both calibers, and I love both of them. And I guess we're just gonna have to own both. There's enough room in the safe there's enough room in my life for more than one beautiful model in the safe. So
definitely.
All right, and speaking of beautiful models, we've got Single Shot joining us today. Single Shot, how you doing, sir? What you up to, buddy?
Oh, we're doing all right this morning. Morning, everybody. Morning, everybody on the chat. Hope everybody's having a great day. I'm presently headed towards Norcross, Georgia with this load of roll paper. Going to be down there Monday. I'm on I-495 here in Massachusetts right now.
Better hurry up and get it out there because we need that paper on Monday when school starts. I'm joking.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're
I'm sure that's what
good.
they're gonna do with this stuff is probably pretty much the same thing. But no, we're doing all right. Had a very busy time there at the house. As you know, I was casting some 6.5 bullets up for the Creedmoor myself this last time at the house, and we got probably 4 pounds or so of them. We're gonna try them, see how they're gonna work out. I've also got a Wildcat. What's that?
How fast are you going to move those 6.5?
Probably around 2,000. Keep them moderate. It is a gas check style bullet, so
okay.
I could step it up a little bit more, but we'll run them around a moderate 2,000, and
cool.
If they work well, then we might experiment a little bit further because it all depends on how things go. I had to bring up the 50-yard target array there day before yesterday. The thing was flopping all over the place. I got to do some bracing on the legs on it to make it a lot more sturdy than what it is.
Yeah.
But those work out pretty well. I've had a lot of fun shooting the blasted things.
Oh, yeah.
I hit it 3 out of 3 shots at 110 yards with that 6.5 and have no problems at all on an 8-inch target. So it's a good little caliber to use. Haven't done much on the other channels. I'm working still a little bit with Instagram, trying to get things figured out on that. I'm still having a little bit of trouble with Rumble. I will put up a video and there's a step along the way there that I'm forgetting or something because it's giving me trouble about uploading. So we're gonna work on it. We're gonna
get there
keep on
eventually.
trucking.
Get it figured out. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, man, good. I'm glad to have you with us. And again, 243 is could be an interesting. There's already like some caliber kind of debates going on out there on the chat side on YouTube. A few people are saying, no 6.5 for me, 308, 243 only, or my first rifle was a 243. I think it's going to be a fun topic, especially when you just maybe look at it. It might be maybe a little bit kind of underappreciated because it's just always been there,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. So yeah,
6 millimeter projectiles have been around for a good hot minute, and they are a very viable round.
Oh yeah, and you've got a lot of grain weight flexibility when it comes to choosing the round that you want, depending on what you want for terminal ballistics and what distance you think you're going to be shooting at, how much energy you need to deliver on your target. I mean, it really 243, and again, there's you can say this for a lot of calibers that, well, I can go this grain weight to this grain weight and it covers the whole spectrum. Good. You do whatever works for you. Foos, give us a little introduction, man. Who are you? What do we need to know about you? Why are you here?
My name's Foose. I like
Morning,
reloading
Foose.
and reloading accessories.
Yes, sir.
No, I'm just a competition shooter. I'm just a competition shooter. I'm getting ready to head to the range and drop about 400 rounds of 40.
Oh, that's all. Just 400. That's
Well,
like a
I
year's
have a
worth of
major
40
match
for me. That's like
coming
2 years worth of 40 for me. What's that?
What I have a major match coming up next week, and I'm going to drop between now and Thursday. I'll probably drop about 1,000 rounds.
Oh my God.
So,
and for those of you who don't know, Foose is a power reloader, right? So he's got some pretty serious equipment for reloading. So, that's something he can replenish his stock in, very little time if he needs to. So
well, last Sunday and Monday, mostly Sunday, I finished it up Monday. I was pumping out 223, and I think I did between Sunday and Monday, I did 2,400 rounds. And I was down there for maybe about 2 hours.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, it's true, guys. I've seen it. This is all real. I've seen the buckets of brass. I've seen the machine running. It's legit, guys. This guy's legit. So, yeah, if anybody throws out fake news on that one, I will totally shoot that one down. So,
hold on. Hold on a second.
Uh-oh. Oh, here we go. He's got a... Look at that ugly mug.
I kind of figured you was going to do that.
That'll wake you up in the morning. That's right. Looks like a furrier version of me. So look at this. Yeah, that's nothing right there. That's all those buckets back there are completely full. So, yeah. Oh my gosh. Look at this dude.
My press.
There you go. So would you say that press has paid for itself already, or what?
I don't even care.
I've seen that thing running, man. It is.
And then all these are 40. It's 450 cal ammo cannons full of 40.
Yeah. Maybe 4,000 rounds, in there. Not a lot.
I bet you're close to 5.
Oh, geez.
So I need to.
Sweet.
I'm gonna have to swap it over to 40 before too long, because they'll run out in probably. I mean, the way I've been shooting this year, I'll probably run out in 2 months.
Yeah, you can always reload if you need to. So.
Oh yeah.
All right. Hey, let's go ahead and give a little shout out on the YouTube side here real quick, and then we'll get the discussion going. So we've got who's out there? AR Gun 1776, New York Outcast, Hillbilly Ups pulling double duty over there and over here. G23's in the house. Let's see, Tommy Guns watching us from Canada. He's got his Tim Hortons. I'm incredibly jealous. Sam of Anarchy 92, New York Outcast. Chuck-a-Luck is out there this morning too. Fluffy 10mm Jeep guy says, no 6.5 for me. I'll stick with 243, 308, 338 Lapua. It covers everything. That really does. That really, really does when you think about it. Gun Snob is out there. Let's see who else. E-Rock's watching us. Says, I love 243. It was the first hunting rifle my dad gave me.
The only thing is 6.5, 308, and Lapua doesn't cover is your intermediate cartridge. Your, point of impact or point of muzzle to about 150, 200 yards.
Gotcha.
Quick session.
Oh, let's see who else is joining. Vanessa Kitty's out there. We got myself. I guess I was posting some messages this morning. Kingpin's watching. 2 Live Moo gave us a thumbs up. Yeah, man. Kevin Jung is out there this morning too. All right. Also, while we're at it, let's just go ahead and give a little shout out since New York Outcast is out there. I forgot to show you guys the address. We got rnldisplays.com. They make excellent display stands for your firearms, AR-15s, 22 caliber M&P, AR-15s, Glock compatible pistol caliber carbines. These are American made. They're nice and sturdy. They also have a wall mount, so you can mount your firearm on the wall if you want to. Make sure you guys check out rnldisplays.com. Again, I like their products, and so that's why I like to mention that, even though they're not an official sponsor of the channel. They do make a great product, and I've tested it, and I've had really good luck on it. So it's been a great little stand. Let's see who else is out there. We got Made in Dade is out there. Says, I still rock my 30-year-old Model 7 243. All right, so I'm just gonna get right into. Well, let's just kind of run this around the room real quick. Any experiences Foos, do you have any experience with 243 at all? Have you ever had a chance to shoot it or test it out or owned a rifle in it?
A buddy of mine had a rifle in it, and I loaded for him. That's about it. But he was able to show me like the different loads. Like, hey, this load did this load did that, and that 243 with pretty much any load was sub MOA, but he had a certain load. I can't remember what powder or anything. It's been so long ago, but he had that 243 at about 200 yards, basically 2-leaf clover with a 5-shot group.
Oh, it can be insanely accurate, and then also just the ballistics on it. I mean, for the time when it came out in 1955, and what it was an evolution of basically kind of a derivation of the 308. You know, it was made from the 308 Parrot case and what it had to offer. And yeah, it's really just kind of a fascinating caliber. It has an interesting history to it and stuff. So yeah, and the other thing too is the recoil on it is just minimal. I mean, I would say it might feel way less than 762 by 39. I mean, it's just a very light shooting round, which makes it a great, introductory round, especially for, say, a young person or somebody who might be a smaller stature. Now you can argue and say, well, my kid can carry my 308 and use it. He shouldn't have any trouble with it, and that's fine. But, I'm thinking multiple rounds of varmint hunting, if you're going to be doing that and so on, it really is a viable cartridge. So single shot, what about you? Any experiences with 243?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I got a 15-inch barrel for the Thompson Center Encore frame, and it does pretty well. And she's got a little bit more recoil than that because it's shorter barrel, but it's a standard taper barrel as well, so it's lighter. But it's fun to shoot and load for. I've got a good bunch of brass there for it. It's all prepped and ready to go. I'm going to dig that out eventually and do some more shooting with that because I want to find a real good, accurate, dependable load for 100 yards. I got my hunting license this year, first time in quite a few years. And hopefully I'm going to have a chance to put one in the freezer with any
you
luck
just go
at
out
all.
on your back patio and just sit there at your picnic table and wait for something.
That's about it. That's about it.
I just sit there at your,
I got a bunch of them that come out there.
Your deer stand is like the grandkids, like little play set out back. You're just sitting up in the little, play stand or whatever, the little jungle gym,
Sit right out on my back.
That's that's a Nebraska tree stand right there. That's what that is. Yeah.
Funny thing about that, back when I lived in Arkansas, a friend of mine, she's the one that owned the range. She would hunt from her garage. She would just open up one of the windows in the garage and shoot out onto her property because the deer were so used to, everything. They wouldn't even see her open up the window and stick a muzzle out.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of people here in Nebraska that have cabins on the Platte River, and they also have islands on the Platte River that they own. They literally could open their front door off their couch. I'm not kidding you, and take their deer, get their morning harvest done at like 8:30 in the morning. I got a buddy who does that. They've got a cabin on the Platte River, and he literally can just walk out in his PJs and get his buck because they're just so thick. I mean, here in Nebraska, there's reasons why here in Nebraska we've got multiple. We have a lot of buy one get one free tags that we do for your deer, and they're thick, man. I mean, there's a lot of people who come out here and do their hunting, and you've got a good spot. You can get your tag filled. I mean, you could get this anywhere in the country, but I would imagine Missouri's probably the same kind of situation. If I've seen your backyard, it's there.
Yeah,
they're all over the place.
It's all the corn around here up in the Midwest.
Oh yeah. It's along the fields and stuff, and plus the proximity. So you got food, cover. We have a lot of tree lines that grow along the river, and you've got water to get away. So that's like perfect habitat for deer. But
one time when I was coming out across Nebraska, Travis, there's an exit. I think it's 325. You get off there, go up into that big pilot. It's on the left-hand side. Yeah. And big cornfields on the opposite side of the road there. Geez, there's 2 or 3 times I went through there. Them fields were just packed with deer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially after harvest, they'll eat up any. Yeah, and after harvest, they'll pick up anything that's fallen out, essentially. And then so I mean, corn. Yep. And they get so acclimated to seeing cars. Yeah. Absolutely, man.
Yep.
Fluffy 10mm Jeep guy says, I got the kid a Ruger American in 243 years ago for his hunting rifle. Great choice, man. Mossberg Patriot, Ruger American, Savage Axis, Axis 2, Axis XP. We'll take a look at just
If you really think any huntable game, 243 takedown.
Mhm.
I know your elk and stuff like that. You know, that may be a little pushing it for that cartridge, but
Yeah.
I mean, placement, you could do it.
Yeah, for us in Nebraska, it's all about, I think, terminal energy at 100 yards. You have to have 900 foot-pounds of energy at 100 yards with whatever caliber you're shooting with, and it has to be greater than 22 long rifle. I mean, it has to be a center part cartridge of 22 caliber or greater. So you can, in Nebraska, you can hunt deer with 5.56, and there are rounds that will do it. Now, I'm not going to argue with you whether or not that's the humane thing to do, because a lot of guys go 243, 270 on up, 308, 30-06 for their deer, the Magnum cartridges and so on. So, but you can, but a lot of states don't allow it. So in fact, what we're going to discover as I go through the history of the round, I think there's 10 states in the US that the minimum is 243 for deer hunting. And what's also interesting is abroad over in Europe, you know, there's a lot of countries that don't let people have 9mm Luger for their handguns, but they can have 380. Well, a lot of those countries like Spain and France and so on, 243 is a caliber that you can use to hunt, but you're not allowed to possess 308 because it's considered a military round. So it's amazing. I don't think 243 is going anywhere anytime soon. I don't think it's going to disappear. I think the demand worldwide is going to be there for it, plus just the popularity and the tradition of it here in the USA. So
it's kind of like a 30-30. It's always going to be around, but it's not going to be around to where you could buy, 2,000 rounds of it at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
American Hillbilly, you were saying that, you prefer the 6.5 round over 243, or you would probably go 6.5 Creedmoor over 243?
Oh, no. I mean, I honestly like both of them very well. I know there's some controversy of people that, like, go up to 6mm,
Yeah.
But I think both of them great shooting guns. I mean, I've been super happy with the range and the grouping on 243, and 6.5 also. So, I mean, I'm kind of whatever's ready to go is fine for me.
Yeah, I think you just got to find the right ammo that's going to work with your gun. You got to know the rate of twist and the grain weight, because you might go through 4 or 5 different boxes and not get, because I had a Mossberg Patriot that wouldn't group under 1.5 inches at 100 yards. I mean, it wasn't me and it wasn't the optic. It just would only group like 1.5 inches at 100 yards. And I was just using Remington core locked, and then I had to step it up to like Federal Fusion. And then I went over to American Whitetail and finally got the groups that I wanted, but also took a couple different grain weights, to get the round to do what I wanted it to do.
Yeah. So, and I mean, I watched your video with the meat ammo. I mean,
that 308.
I'm getting me a box of that.
That first group was nothing to write home about, but I was just kind of getting the jitters out, kind of warming up the barrel, just trying to figure out where it was going to place. And a lot of people don't realize when a gun is sitting on a gun rest in gun videos, if you guys watch it, let's move. Any kind of breathing or pressure that you put on the gun while you're holding it, it's going to move. You can see the gun moving, so you have to really be careful with your shot placement. The nice thing is it takes the weight bearing off of the user, especially if you're going to be filming for an hour at the range, which is why I like to take the lead sled. But yeah, the second group, that was me aiming at the same spot every time. It was 0.53 of an inch for 308. I mean, that round is awesome. I got to check and see if Mead offers a 243. I don't think they do.
What grain weight was that Mead?
Oh God, off the top of my head, I can't even. I want to say, was it a 180? I have to go look at my video.
Yeah, I
know what it was. Wait, it's sitting right behind me. God. Okay, here it is, guys. The Ioxus 180 grain is what it is. Yeah.
I thought it did really well for manufactured bullets. I mean,
yeah, this I would definitely hunt with this as a 308 round. Plus, it's a Nebraska-based business, so I like to shop local. And Hornady is Nebraska-based also, but Mead's kind of is an up and coming company, and I was really impressed with the performance of it. That's their own proprietary polymer tip. They don't use Hornady bullets. They have their own bullets that they make. So, all right. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump right into it and just look at I'm going to talk just briefly about the history of the 243 Winchester. A lot of you might not realize, where it came from, and it's just kind of neat to kind of look at kind of the history of some of these calibers. That's what we do, is discuss calibers on Caliber Corner. So this is just taken from Wikipedia. I'll just give you guys the first couple paragraphs. It says the 243 Winchester, which is a 6.52mm round, is a popular sporting rifle cartridge. It was developed as a versatile short-action cartridge to hunt both medium game and small game alike. It took whitetail hunting by storm when it was introduced in 1955 and remains one of the most popular whitetail deer cartridges. It's also commonly used for harvesting blacktail deer, pronghorn's a mule deer with heavier rounds and is equally suited to varmint hunting with lighter rounds. The 243 is based on a neck-down 308, introduced only 3 years earlier, which was 1952. Expanding monolithic copper bullets of approximately 80 to 85 grains or traditional lead rounds of 90 to 105 grains with controlled expansion designs are best suited for hunting medium game, while lighter rounds are intended for varmints. So in at least 10 U.S. states and the UK, the 243 or similar cartridges are the smallest bore cartridges that are legal for hunting deer. This has been revised in the UK to allow moonjack and Chinese water deer to be taken with 5.56 chambered weapons. So it really kind of depends on the region and the area. You know, if you don't know, you just look at the box, and many times they will put the symbol of what you should hunt with it. Like they might put an outline of a deer on the box, or they might put the prairie dog on the box, or a coyote. So you'll know if that round is designed for it. And you just got to educate yourself on the rounds a little bit before you go out and buy, say, 100 rounds or 200 rounds of anything. You want to make sure it's going to be appropriate for what you're hunting for. You want to look up the velocity. You want to look up the energy. Accuracy is always important too. What kind of a drop is the round going to have? Because you'll be surprised when we look at 243, the differences in the drop based off the grain weight. Highly experienced hunters use the 243 Winchester to routinely drop bucks up to 250 pounds. While less experienced hunters can be just as capable of 243 due to its very low recoil yet high velocity. Besides hunting applications, the cartridge is also popular with target and metallic silhouette shooters for those same recoil and velocity properties and superb accuracy. Now, the last thing I want to do is just talk about performance. This is where we kind of geek out a little bit. How does it compare to other calibers and the loads and so on? Performance-wise, 243 Winchester closely matches the 6mm Creedmoor, but the 243 Winchester has more bullet and casing options, as well as more factory loadings and firearms options available. 243 Winchester also has slightly more powder room, while the 6mm Creedmoor is usually loaded to slightly higher pressures. With very little recoil, even less than that of 30-30 Winchester introduced 60 years earlier, the 243 brought higher chamber pressures, larger powder volumes, and sharply tipped bullets, which all combined to lend to the 243 more muzzle energy and far greater downrange energy than 30-30 is able to achieve. 243 Winchester has been found to shoot flatter and more accurately than 7mm odd-8 Remington out to 500 yards with less recoil and also less terminal energy. So again, it really, and then it goes on and talks about some of the velocity and specifics, and we'll talk about that. Yeah.
Does it say which 7mm? Because like 7mm are so many different.
It was 7mm odd-8 is what it said.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
708, yeah.
But I mean, you know, you're really, it's tough to really compare it to another caliber that, it's just because every caliber has its own unique characteristics. But like if you're trying to decide, do I want 6mm Creedmoor? Do I want 243? Do I just want to go up to 6.5? Should I just go 308? You know, it really is kind of splitting hairs at one point or another. Yeah, Foos, were you going to say something?
No.
Okay. Let's see. Guns and Barbecue says 243 is the minimum in Pennsylvania. So let's just take a look at ballistic performance. Like, what can you expect? And again, I just usually take Hornady because they've got some of the best information available on their website. Not that I'm not for other brands. I shoot all different brands of ammo. I'm not really brand loyal specifically, although the meat ammo was pretty good in 308. I got to admit that stuff is spectacular. But going over to the Hornady page, you know, you can see that we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different loads that you can choose from for 243 Winchester. It's going to go from a 58 grain VMAX all the way up to a 100 grain boat tail soft point interlock. And then obviously they give you the symbols that give you an idea as to what this round should be used for, you know, varmint versus deer. Now, like just looking at performance variables here, the 58 grain VMAX round, really kind of curious about the velocity on this one. It is 3,925 feet per second with 1,984 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle.
That's
and it also, yeah, go ahead, Foos.
That's a barrel burner.
And that's the other thing I want to talk about too here in just a second. Trajectory flies flat at 200 yards, and then 4.5-inch drop at 300 yards, 13.8-inch drop at 400 yards. And at that point, I think you're going to probably be looking at a little bit of wind push, although it is a very, you know, flat firing round. But
with the lighter rounds, they have to be fat whenever it contacts the air. So your heavier round will split the air more efficiently than a lighter fat round. even though they're the same diameter, the front end surface diameter basically what it has to cut through the air is fatter. It gets bigger quicker.
Now they also have their ELD X-tip ammo, like in their 90 grain round, which has a special polymer that's supposed to help the tip maintain its integrity until it hits its intended target. Because once the round goes from supersonic to transonic or just below supersonic, you can start to get some deformation in the front of that polymer tip from friction, and that can cause the round to lose its accuracy. And I mean, that's really splitting hairs for what a lot of hunters want, but I know that's one of those rounds. That's one of those things that Hornady really boasts about their ELDX round,
That, and if you're pushing at, almost 4,000 feet per second, it's going to be, 1,700 yards before that goes transonic.
That's a good point. They say that the tip itself, they say that the heat shield tip defies the effects of aerodynamic heating, and it retains its shape to maintain the highest in class ballistic coefficient over its entire trajectory. So, I mean, if you really want to get some premium grade ammo,
that's the ELD, right?
ELDX.
Yeah. So the ALD, their first polymer tip, they found out that the heating of the round flying down range was distorting the tip, so that's why they remanufactured or reinvented reformulated the tip construction and material to make it better, and that's where the ELDX comes from.
Now, just looking at, so let's check out this 90 grain round, the Precision Hunter round. You're looking at 3,150 feet per second. That's still screaming 1983 for energy foot-pounds. Flying flat at 200 yards with a 6-inch drop at 300. I mean, that right there is in my opinion, that would be an ideal deer round, if you really want to get that kind of performance. And again, to me, it is a big deal to use a good ammo. Now, you might say, well, I can shoot a 1-inch group at 100 yards with my such and such ammo. I'm fine with it. And that's fine, too. You can go that route. But depending on how far out your shots are going to go, you want to make sure you've got that terminal performance on the back end, especially out here in Nebraska, where you've got a lot of open range shots that can go out to 300, 400, 500 yards. And again, that's why a lot of guys tend to go with a bigger round.
Well, that is whenever you go out, and if you're like, hey, I'm going to shoot out to a possible 500 yards, you better know what your bullet will do out to 500 yards at the range.
And be able to compensate for that kind of drop, that MOA, yeah. We've also got the 100 grain interlock, Bowtail soft point, American whitetail round. And even with the 100 grain, that's pushing 2960, 1945 for energy, flies flat at 200 yards, 7-inch drop at 300 yards. And really, I would go out and buy, if I'm going to go after deer, right, I'd probably go buy 3 different boxes and just see which one groups the best, which one's going to chrono maybe the highest out of the barrel, and then go that route, but then also really do pay attention to those ballistics, once you get out past 200 or 300 yards in case you start to drop off. So, but really, it is a very potent vibe, and it's nice to see that the ammunition, the technology, the engineering into the ammunition is still with us. It's still developing a better round for people, and it doesn't make the caliber obsolete. Even though there are other choices out there you could go with that. I would probably graduate from 243 to say 308, me personally. But that's just kind of my thoughts on it. So check the comments out there and see if we're missing anything. Look, you guys are. Chris says, Squib must be worn out. He was on fire Thursday. Yeah, he probably had a long night last night. I know that a lot of guys hang out on Gary's chat and stuff and other chats, and it's all good. It's all good. Let's see. Some of these other 25 caliber rounds or something we haven't really talked about, what the 25 250 or 22 250. There's a few other calibers that we really need to go with. Now, Tony York says, I've never really been a fan of the 243. And for a lot of people, if you start off with 308 or 06, 30-06, you're going to be fine.
Or if people start out with the 30-30, they look at the 243 as
Yeah. So that's not a big deal. Now let's just talk about like platforms, right? What can you find for firearms? What kind of options are out there? What can you do? Yeah, go ahead.
Just while we was talking about the ammunition, I really like I use the Federal 55 grain sometimes. I really like that too. I believe it's over 3,000 foot per second.
Is that Federal Fusion? Is that what that round is? Do you know?
I think it's the Federal Premium.
Okay.
I'd have to
we
go
can head over to
look.
Federal real quick and see what they have. We really haven't. Like I said, I typically just go to Hornady first, but I mean, there's a lot of other, premium centerfire rifle.
Yeah. So did you
Fusion.
say over 3,000 or over 4,000?
Oh,
3,000 feet per second.
Yeah, I mean 3,000 feet per second out of 243 should be pretty easily obtainable.
That 100 grain one, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
pushes 2960. So
Yeah, it's just under 3 on the 100 grain. I
that's
believe.
pretty good for a 100 grain bullet.
Yeah.
yeah, and it has what I say 1983 or 1984 for foot-pounds energy at the muzzle. So it's Now I was going to look up just check out the Fusion ammo and see what they show for it. So I'm trying to get the links to work and it's not wanting to go. So not sure what the deal is, but
It's an ID10T Air.
What's that?
It's an ID10T Air.
ID10T Air.
Yeah. ID10T Air.
Oh, no. We're fine. It was just slow to load. No, we're good. We're good.
No, that spells out idiot.
Oh, I got you. I'm still waking up here, dude. So for Federal, just as a comparison here, I'm looking at the Federal website. I can share this with you guys too. Let's see, share screen. Here we go. So under the Fusion, you've got your 95 grain. Muzzle velocity is 2980. It's the soft point ammo. The ballistic coefficient, obviously, it's not up there as high as the Hornady, but it's still good. Medium game, $41. And that's the other thing too. The ammunition, you're going to be looking at probably around $2, maybe $2.50 a round. So, but it can be expensive once you start getting that gun dialed in initially. So, let's see. Tony York says I would never tell. Go ahead.
That's when whenever ammo starts getting that expensive, that's when buying a single stage press and making your own is worth it, because you could probably
that was a problem.
Yes,
you could probably reload that for 50 to today's price is probably 60 cents, 70 cents.
What got frustrating when some of these calibers dried up, when we had like all of our ammo, when ammo was disappearing off the shelves for the last couple of years. First of all, hunting season in Nebraska, that's the other thing too, is if you get one of these rifles, if they got ammo on the shelves, get it. Out here, we do have stores that sell out of, 243, 270, 30, some grades of 308. People buy it for hunting. And so you don't always get that replenished right away. And then if you got to go online, it's super expensive. I know that happened with like 6.5 Creedmoor with me for a couple of years there. It was really hard to find it, especially if you don't reload it. But that's something you really got to watch out for is, and some of those calibers, if they dry up, you're going to be waiting a long time to find them. So what's going on? Kingpin says, stop the show. 8 thumbs up. Come on, man. You know the thing. Hey, man, I do appreciate that. So Tony York did say, I wouldn't tell anybody to not get 243. He just likes 6mm better. So go ahead, Foos.
Well, I mean, 243 and 6mm is the same diameter.
Yeah. I think he was talking maybe 6mm Creedmoor. I have to go back and look and see what his comments were, but
yeah. But I mean, and that's another thing is, it's 243. Well, if you have a bullet that's made for 6mm, that's still 243. It just depends. It's just the name. Yeah. So
depends
you
on what
It's like, your 6.5 series, that's all 264 diameter.
Yep.
So, that's what I was casting was 264 diameter, 150 grain bullets there for the 6.5 Creedmoor.
Yeah, so just because it's, a 243 or 6mm, if you get down to reloading, it is the same projectile. So you just shove it into your case or actually fill the case up first, shove it in the case and go bang.
Tommy again says that I reload every caliber that I own except 7.62 by 39, which is cheap up here. It's kind of gone down in price down here, but it's still up there a little bit. But yeah, especially if you're looking at sub 300 yards, you've got a lot of different options for what you can hunt with. 243 is great, 7.62 by 39, 30, and so on. Checking out something here real quick. So what does it actually, cost to get into 243? We're just going to take a look and see what kind of options you have out there. And we're just going to go to Shields, which I usually don't, surprisingly. I usually go to, gun.deals and see what pops up. But Shields has got a good selection of all their 243 rifles on one page that you can view. I mean, you can really spend whatever you want. Entry level at Shields, I think you're looking at around $399 for an Axis XP with a scope. I mean, 3 to 9x40 Weaver. It's going to be an okay entry level. I would trust this out to say 200 or 300 yards easy. You've also got youth models in 243, which is nice. A lot of left-handed models. You've got your Ruger American Standard, which is $479. And not that you can't get cheaper prices elsewhere, but it's nice to just be able to compare and see what's out there for the competition, you know.
It's a starting point. So whenever you just go to one store like this, it's a starting point. Yes, you could probably go out to another store and get 1 or 2 rifles for cheaper, but then another couple rifles will be more expensive. But just going out to one store is like, okay, if they're all expensive, let's say they're all, wanting to make $100, you'll still know the range of, okay, this gun A to gun B may be $300 more. Is it worth the $300 more to step up?
And that's when it comes down to thing. Yeah, and that was something we were talking about was, barrel life. That's one thing I've heard about 243 is you can, shoot out the barrel over time. I think it would take somebody thousands of rounds to do so. But if you're looking at something you want to pass on to your kids, no, you don't think it's possible?
243 with almost 4,000 feet per second, you're probably looking into, if you're a precision shooter, you're probably swapping out every 2,000 rounds.
Okay.
Because you will, your throat and your muzzle will start to degrade pretty fast with something moving that fast.
If you want, here's a basic Savage Arms Axis. It's not an XP or a 2. Just if you want a very basic one, $349. But I'll show you guys here in a little bit what I recommend you go get if you're going to get one, because the way it was manufactured, and it was very underrated. There's one that in particular I want to recommend you. If you ever see one at a gun show, you definitely want to consider picking it up, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, you got a lot of options. What's really cool is they got a variety of different platforms available. You can get the precision rifle chassis versions all the way down to just your traditional stocks, wood or synthetic. It seems like $399 to $499 is going to be to $599 is going to be your kind of your sweet spot for picking one up if you want one. Foos, is that your 308? I can't remember. Is that a Tikka? Or is that a Sacco? What is your 308?
Howa.
Oh, Howa. Okay.
Howa.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know if they ever offered that Game King combo in 243. Yeah.
I am losing the chat because I'm heading out to the range, so
okay.
I'm going to have to bow out because I'm not.
Hey, no problem, man. No problem. Yeah.
I'm going to lose you anyway, so.
All right.
See you later, guys.
So if you're,
good luck, folks.
Take it easy, man. Be good. So the idea here is if you're going to be getting your first deer rifle, or if you're looking at something for a young person or somebody of a smaller stature, consider 243 just because of its light recoil and, just the fact that it can be very accurate out to say 200 to 300 yards. You also have to kind of take your distance into consideration too when you're going to be doing your shooting. Tommy Gunn says 22-250 stripes out a barrel at 2,000 rounds. Tony York says if I can't kill it with a 30-06, I don't want to hunt it. Yeah, nothing wrong with 06, man. That's a fantastic round too. So yeah, 06 will get her done. And the last thing I wanted to show you is, let's just say you want to go here in Nebraska, you can, as long as I believe it's 5 rounds or 5+1, you can hunt with semi-automatic firearms in Nebraska with your medium to large game such as deer. And so what are you looking at? Let's say you want to get into like an AR platform 243. There was a time where that was kind of a boutique gun where if you wanted a 243 AR, it was going to cost you thousands of dollars. And it's not like that anymore. A lot of your major manufacturers offer an upper in 243. Where you got to watch out is when it comes to your lower choice. If you don't buy the complete firearm from the manufacturer, you just get the upper. You've got to get yourself a lower that's going to be compatible. So you have to check and see what design of receiver they use for the upper to make sure that your lower is compatible. So, for example, I was heading over to Bear Creek Arsenal. I always start there and then I go elsewhere. What would it cost you if you want a 243 upper that's going to work with an AR-10 lower? So these go with a DPMS Gen 1 lower, which I believe is the LR SR platform, if I'm not mistaken.
LR.
Could be
that's
wrong.
What I've got.
LR
308.
Yeah, and this is going to be compatible. So if you've got a lower that you bought to say run 308, you can get a 243 upper with a 20-inch barrel over at Bear Creek for $377. Now this is going to be gonna be a heavy setup. You throw an optic on there and a bipod, but if you're gonna be doing maybe some varmint hunting from a stationary position, or you're okay lugging, you know, an 8.5, 9-pound firearm wherever you're going, you know, you could always consider going this route. So, you know, $377 will get you into it. It is cheaper to buy their upper and then to go buy, like, say, an Arrow M5 lower. That's what I would probably do. And at that point, you could get yourself set up for under $700 and have, you know, now for magazines, what I've read, the recommendations in the reviews on these uppers, go with an ASC mag, because that's going to give you can get the 5-round mags, probably 20 and 30. I mean, if you look at ASC, they offer a lot of different mags, but those are supposedly the most reliable and the ones that feed the best too. So what else do we have here? Gunmetal Guy USA says, I smashed the like button. So should you. Gunmetal Guy USA, thank you very much. And somebody else that we like just joined us. Kingpin, what's going on, man? How's it going? What are you doing?
Good morning, everybody. Thanks for the invite.
Yeah. Kingpin, do you have any kind of upbringing in hunting at all? Did you ever have a chance to shoot 243 or an opportunity to go out and hunt that at all?
No, I've shot my friend's 270, and then I haven't. My friend's my boss, and he swears by the 270 and the 243.
Those two, arguably in Nebraska, or just for deer hunters in general, one of the top 5 calibers, you know, 270, 243, 308-06, and then you get into your 6.5s and stuff like that. Again, for 270, I know we've talked about 270 before. 243, obviously, it's going to be lighter felt recoil. The felt recoil of 243 is roughly half of 308 out of a similar platform bolt action rifle. What's interesting is that I guess LA SWAT for a while, and maybe they still do, although it hasn't been commercially adopted by the military, the 243 round, LA SWAT did for a while, and maybe they still do, use the 243 round for their SWAT applications, which I thought was kind of interesting, just because of what it can do and the accuracy of, and the fact they're looking at, say, sub 200 yard engagements. It was perfect for what they needed, which was kind of interesting. So let's see. Do you know, Kingpin, in Maryland where you are you allowed to have tapered case ammo for hunting deer? Do you have to be slug only, or can you use centerfire rifle cartridges in Maryland for hunting?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure, I don't hunt, so I don't know, but some of my friends and coworkers and stuff do. The shotgun thing, if you're hunting like a deer or something like that, you got to use slugs. I mean,
okay.
For birds, you can use the bird shot or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, but I'm pretty sure that you need a straight wall cartridge. The 243 is a straight wall, right?
No, it's not. It's a crimped. It's based off the 308.
Well, then
so no straight walls.
Right.
That Maryland may get split in half.
It depends on where you are.
It depends on where you are, yeah. So as far as the actual rifle hunting and caliber, I don't know because I don't hunt, but I do know for shotgun you have to use slug for any kind of like significant game.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Like in Michigan, I remember Squib. I believe in Squib was telling me that there were some areas that were slug only, and then a few other ones that are straight wall cartridge. I don't know if you can do center fire in Michigan. Like tapered cases, crimped cases. So we're talking, anything other than say like 350 Legend or maybe 450 Bushmaster. We'd have to go back into the list, but and I mean slug hunting. Slug's a whole nother. We've had episodes on that too, where we've talked about slug rounds and technology behind the rounds and stuff. It's amazing what you can get now up to 200 yards with a lot of these cartridges. So I mean, overall, consider 243. Let me see if I can look up real quick. I owned one of these, and I'm kicking myself for selling it. Actually sold it and used it to buy a Mossberg Patriot. Now, just for the record, there was a version of this rifle that was recalled. So if you get this, you'd want to check your production number to make sure that it's for a safety spring issue that they had, but it's let me bring up an image here for you guys.
Just a real quick internet search said, all I did was ask my phone, can you hunt with a tapered cartridge in Maryland? And it said that you need straight wall.
Okay.
That, like I said, just to be fair, that was just what I said to my phone, and that's what my phone said back to me. So
no, that's fine. And there could be certain counties or certain areas or regions. I mean, it could be one of those things where at a certain time of the year you can use whatever cartridge you want, and then other times you can, or in this township you can or whatnot. So yeah,
where I live at, Well, I live right in central Maryland. So if you go east, the topography changes drastically. If you go west, the topography changes drastically.
Sounds like Nebraska.
Yeah.
Believe it or not. Yeah.
East is the ocean, and west is the mountains.
Yeah. See, Nebraska East, you have all the hills and all the trees. You go up north, you got the hills and the trees, and you go west, and you've got open prairie. So it's pretty much you kind of get that vast difference. That could explain the ammo difference too. So if you're ever at a gun show, I highly recommend the Remington 710, which, like I said, there was a recall on certain serial numbers, and you can still get it serviced if you need to. And I've done videos on this. I did a cleaning video on it. I did a range video on it. I'm kicking myself for selling it. Very, very accurate, underappreciated rifle. And if you go on Gunbroker, you could pick these up for $250. I would take this over other new entry-level rifles that you can buy in the store today. I would take this over those. What's controversial about the 710 was that when it came out, in order to keep the cost low, to keep it below the price of the 700s, they used this thing called polymer in the trigger group and certain components, and people just completely lost their crap over that. How could you possibly use polymer in a trigger group? How could you use polymer in the construction of, certain components? And the funny part is, you look at today's modern budget rifles and you take them apart and look at the trigger groups. That's the majority of what's under the hood. So if anything, the 710 was actually ahead of the game, and they were trying to bring a more budget-friendly rifle to the consumer in a variety of calibers. This thing came out in the early 2000s, so this is before you had your entry-level XPs, your Thompson TCs and whatnot. So I highly do recommend it. The bolt's easy to disassemble and clean. But again, you want to definitely check the bore, especially if you're looking at a 240. But Remington 710, man, if you look them up, you can find them for like $250 on Gunbroker. And I'll go to a lot of gun shows here in Nebraska, and you'll sometimes see one sitting there in .6 or in 270, but very lightweight, looks very modern for being something that's 15 years old. Excellent performance. I really do like it. Now, the trigger's not as refined, and I cannot remember if it's adjustable. It's not quite as refined as a lot of the triggers that you get on some of your modern rifles off the rack, but just a great. The guy that I got it from actually traded a Ruger 1022 for it, and he had used it as basically a backup rifle for his deer hunts in case his main rifle would ever have issues or lose zero. He just kept it in his truck, and then when he would take friends with him for hunts and stuff, or if he had a young person with him, that would be the rifle that they would use because he always had it sighted in. He did put some rounds through. Like, I took the thing apart and cleaned it. There was like prairie grass that was in it and stuff. There was like part of the Nebraska prairie that fell out of it. But I mean, I got it. You can see in the video, like, it was pretty dirty. But man, it just ran like a champ. He took many deer with it, and actually sold it to a buddy of mine that I worked with who was looking for an inexpensive deer rifle because he wanted to get back into deer hunting. And I wanted the money to go buy my Ruger American. It was either Mossberg Patriot or Ruger American. So I sold it, and I regret it. But the Remington 710, I mean, don't rule it out. It's just, again, you want to make sure that it's not part of the recall. You can find out if it's ever been serviced or not from calling Remington. But it was a really, really, really nice rifle. So that's something that I totally recommend. So, all right. Let's check the comments here and see what's going on. You guys are out there chatting right now. Oh, so Hillbilly Up, you were saying that you got a friend that cut 3 inches off the barrel of the truck gun, said it didn't really affect the shot group.
Yeah, he wanted some. He's kind of down in Arkansas, and he has more of a farm. He's wanting to use it a lot for farming gun and all that. Well, he wanted it shorter for the throwing his, Polaris or his truck, and he cut. Yeah, I know it was 3 or maybe 3.5 inches cut off his barrel, and he said he really can't tell a difference for what he's using it for. The group and everything was just great, and it just fit him better for his usage.
Hey, Travis.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
That goes along with what I mentioned here some time ago about maximum user barrel efficiency and length. You have a certain length of that barrel. After that, that bullet will actually start to slow down.
Okay.
So that's a good example of it. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, my question kind of goes along with what Single Shot and Hillbilly were just talking about. My question for you, Travis, was going to be the cleanliness of the barrel, because I know you're like super into the cleaning your firearms.
Yeah.
I've heard some hunters say they like a little bit of little bit of filth in there. They don't want it dirty, but a little bit when they go hunting. They don't want it clean. When you talk about a precision type of round with a long barrel, does a little bit of dust make it that big of a difference?
No, there's a lot of guys that will compete, like with say their M14s or M1 Grands in competitive shooting. There's a lot of hunters. They will not clean the barrel or give it that thorough decoppering cleaning until the end of the season, if at all. A lot of guys don't clean their barrels until they start to see their groups opening up, and then they realize that, well, maybe I need to run a patch down it. You could run a patch down it to push the powder out of it and kind of keep it preserved. But I wouldn't do like a deep cleaning on the barrel until it starts to lose its accuracy, especially with a hunting rifle, if you know where it's going to print. Like my Ruger American chambered in 7.62 by 39. I put God knows how many rounds through that thing before I finally cleaned it. And the only reason why I cleaned it is because it had been years and years and years. And I was starting to notice the groups opening up to above an inch with ammo that would typically perform sub 1 inch. So if anything, I would wipe off the rifle. I'd wipe off the bolt, wipe out the inside of the receiver. At a minimum, maybe just run a patch down the barrel just to kind of get the powder out of it. But that kind of buildup, it really helps the bullet kind of, it's almost like seasoning the skillet, if you will. Once that barrel is kind of, at a point where it's got the optimal amount of copper in the grooves and the right kind of buildup in it, it's going to be consistent because that's the conditions that are creating the trajectory. So I
always thought because, a lot of your diehard hunters, they didn't want dare to smell the CLR.
Well, that's
yeah.
I mean, they rub the dirt on their clothes. I mean,
it's
really serious.
I would maybe wipe the rifle off before I take it out in the field, especially if you're somebody like me that just leaves the guns coated in CLP or whatnot, But yeah, to Kingpin, answer your question, I wouldn't bother other than just maybe a patch down the barrel, maybe like one pull of a bore snake just to make sure any obstructions are out of it, because the bore snake's not gonna give you that deep clean that a good rod with a bristle brush and a copper solvent is going to do for the barrel. So to make a long answer short, I would just wait till you start to see the accuracy opening up on it. If it's always shooting an inch, don't worry about it. Just wipe it off and wipe it down so it doesn't rust. Depending on where you live, if you're in a high humidity area or you're near the ocean, salt spray, whatnot, you'd want to make sure that you keep the gun preserved. But so that's my answer for you. But most of mine, now the thing is though, I mean, I do run the bore snake down my ARs a couple times, but I have yet to do a real deep cleaning in the barrels of any of my AR-15s. And I mean, I've got my one Bear Creek rifles over 2,000 rounds down the pipe, and I've just pulled a bore snake through the barrel since I've owned it, and that really has been fine. So, Gunmetal Guy USA says, "What's the optimal barrel length for 243, or is it doable out of a short barrel also?" Everything I'm seeing,
22.
Yeah, I went back to Shields again. It was 20 to 22 inches. Even the youth model, which just has a shorter adjustable stock, is still a 20-inch barrel, and they're so thin. I mean, unless you need that mobility going through the woods to have a shorter barrel. I've seen you can get I believe it's an 18-inch 308 barrel. Now, granted, 308 has different burning characteristics than 243, but I've seen an 18-inch barrel on a youth model Ruger American rifle chambered in 308. Maybe it was even a 16. I don't know. But I would say, 20 to 22 is pretty much the standard. 22 inches if you really want to maximize that stability and velocity, but 20 inches would be fine too. So I wouldn't necessarily cut it down, but it sounds like you could. So Hillbilly, I would be interested to see kind of the ballistics out of a chronograph. Say you cut down that 243 barrel to 16 inches versus 20. I would be really curious to see what the ballistic difference is and the feet per second, if you gain or lose anything. And then also, like, how's that going to group once you get past, say, 100 yards? Are you going to see – you're obviously going to get an increased drop, and you're going to lose energy if you don't have that velocity when you leave the barrel. So I wouldn't necessarily cut down to 243, but, 18-inch, between 18 and 20 might not make a lot of difference, but I don't know.
If I did cut it down, it would be an inch at a time. I wouldn't go hacking a whole lot of it off all at once. It's harder to put it back on than it is to take it off.
So Gunmetal Guy,
take it off. You can't put it back on there.
JB Weld won't work.
No, I wouldn't try that.
Duct tape ain't gonna do it. Gorilla tape's not gonna do it. You got to go buy another gun. Yeah.
I got barrel at least.
Travis.
What's that?
Everybody get ready. I'm getting Travis's next video series ready for you right now. Travis is gonna build a 243 7.5-inch
Oh,
243 AR pistol.
oh my god!
Oh, talk about punishment.
I don't know if that thing would even cycle. I don't know if it would even have enough powder burn before it would just rocket a fireball.
Okay, 10-inch barrel.
10-inch?
Oh, it would cycle all right.
I'll give you that.
I should ask Bear Creek if they'd make me a 10-inch. Well, because you'd have to have it on an AR-10 lower. If you could get a 10-inch 243 upper, they'd be like, why? Why not? You know? That would be a very
show up at your house with a
Travis.
We're here to take care of you, Travis. Come on.
I appreciate that. I like that idea. I'm out there with the hacksaw, you know? Yeah.
I got an example of that for you. You guys will get quite a chuckle out of this. I had a real good friend of mine. His name was Sonny, and he was in the New Hampshire plant, Rochester, Thompson Center, and he went out just for teehees and yayas, put up a 15-inch 375 H&H.
Okay.
Now, if you guys are familiar with the 375 H&H, that is an African caliber. I have one, a 26-inch Encore rifle barrel.
So he's doing a 15.
And he put it together on a frame, put it on the bench, fired one round, pulled the gun apart, took the sights off the barrel went in the scrap bin. He says, that's enough of that. And they refused to sell that caliber in anything but a rifle barrel. They would not sell that caliber in a pistol barrel. That recoil just about ripped his wrist bone all to pieces. That was enough of that crap.
So I'm seeing some barrels out here. Like Wilson Combat does a 16-inch 243 barrel. So I could probably get Wilson Combat has one. We want to do a 243 AR build with a 16-inch barrel, which might be as short as you can get. So Kingpin, it's going to have to have the the gas ports and everything drilled for it. So it's going to be hard to get something other than what's commercially available. But yeah, I need to contact, go out there and commission, Well, hey, morning, Squib. What's going on? How you doing, sir?
Hey, Squib.
Yeah, I could also vouch for Wilson. I know a lot of them fellers, and they take their stuff serious.
You could maybe have I'm sure there's somebody out there that would custom make, a 10-inch 243 barrel with the gas ports wherever I want them to, what kind of a gas that's going to be basically running a pistol and gas system if it would even cycle, but that
I could tell you
put this idea in my head now. Yeah.
But the thing is, my concern on something like that is how much effect it's going to have after a while on the lower. That thing's going to kick like a mule.
Well, you're going to lose a lot of powder out of the end of the barrel.
Oh, yeah.
So it might not have as much of an effect as you're going to lose a lot of, terminal ballistics and stuff. And, because I look at 762 by 39. I used to have my 7.5 or 8.5-inch upper. And that thing would just throw a fireball out of the end of it that was 3 feet tall on camera.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if I ever got a chance to chronograph that. I might have, but I know I did a 300 blackout test between 8.5-inch and 10.5-inch, and it was pretty significant, the velocity difference.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe that's what we need. We need a company that just makes just crazy, stupid, short barrels in semi-automatic, rifle calibers. That would be awesome. I know you can get a 10.5-inch, you can get 10.5-inch 308 pistols. They're
I've got 3 of them.
DS Arms, I think, makes one, if I'm not mistaken, and you can get them. So,
I've got a 762 by 39 barrel for the Encore frame, 10-inch.
Oh yeah,
that's a snappy bugger.
No, I'm talking 308 though, like a 10.5-inch 308 upper for an AR. That would be fun. So, yeah,
I got 2 15-inch standard taper 308 for the Encore frame. That thing's pretty brutal. She's snapping pretty hard.
Here comes my dilemma.
Uh-oh.
If Wilson Combat they are what they are, obviously. If they've designed a rifle with a 16-inch barrel for the 243 round, then that would make sense because my thought is that short of a barrel, you're kind of wasting the round because it's not designed.
Yeah,
as a short
right.
barrel. But then the people much smarter than me, named Wilson Combat, have built a 16-inch barrel for it. Did they change the powder charge and change the round,
Change the powder.
or did I just, or they that much of a chop of the barrel, it doesn't affect the bullet?
You could vary the powder to get a faster powder burn, so you have more of a powder burn before it leaves the barrel. I'm looking to see if they've got like a 243 standalone AR with a 16-inch barrel. I don't see it, but they do offer. Oh, here it is. Yeah.
Or
so
Wilson changed the twist on that any either.
Yeah, I was gonna say rated twist is definitely gonna have to be. So yeah, Wilson Combat does have. Here, I can show you guys. This is pretty fascinating. Good morning, Squib. How you doing, sir? Are you good? He might be grabbing his coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. Welcome to the show.
I knew Scoob's coffee machine was broken. That's why he wasn't here this morning.
You got to have instant on standby. That's what I do for emergencies. So here's your 243 Ranger. Oh, that says 308, but you can get this in 243. It's only $3,285, but you can get it in 243. It's 16-inch barrel. I'd get one. That would just be awesome, man. That'd be your ultimate. Man, that'd be fun. That would be fun. It is definitely built up, but if you want a 16-inch, that's going to take care of it for you. Fun stuff. So, yep.
Did it say anything? Did they change the twist on that or anything?
I can check the specs on it here. Let's see, specifications. They don't. Let's see here. No, I'd almost have to probably look at the pictures and see if the barrel has any markings on it. No, I'm not seeing it right now, so I'm not sure exactly. Because I was thinking 1 in 10 is what you tend to use on a 243. If I'm not mistaken, on a lot of the hunting rifles, but yeah, and again, you can shop the barrels, and so that might be. Here we go. Okay, so it's a 1 in 10. It's a 1 in 10. Their barrel's a 1 in 10. The Ranger barrel, you can get the Ranger barrel for $279. So you could do an AR-10 build with a 243 barrel on it. So yeah, that's a 1 in 10.
All right,
there you go. So that. Yeah, it might be a little bit cheaper to buy the barrel and do your own build instead. So, all right, let's see what else we got going on for comments. Our Squibload says, morning. Let's see. Heard him talking about 22 Hornet. Wanted to see if he had any videos of Ski 330. I'm not sure who you guys are talking about. I don't, but Sam of Anarchy says, does 243 work better in a bolt action or an AR platform? I mean, it's hard to argue semi-auto versus bolt. You would almost think bolt accuracy would be superior, but then you're going to have somebody who says, well, I can shoot, 0.3-inch groups at 500 yards with my 308 and blah, blah, blah. I think that they're going to perform equally well. Your AR platform, depending on what you want to do, if you're doing like maybe high volume varmint hunting, you're going to want that semi-auto like you can use here in Nebraska for prairie dogs and stuff like that. Or maybe coyotes, and maybe you're just more comfortable with the AR platform versus a bolt gun. It really just comes down to how much you practice with it and how good you are with what you shoot. So I don't think there's going to be any. I guess you could argue that the bolt action is going to be more accurate, but if it's going to shoot a sub 1-inch group at 100 yards, then I think you're going to be fine. So I wouldn't worry about it. X Adam 1 says, stop trying to convince me to buy another rifle. I'm broke. Come on now, you can finance a $3,200 rifle from Wilson Combat. I mean, it's going to keep its resale value.
Yeah, if you can find somebody who wants to pay that much all over again.
Oh, I guarantee there's people. Well, yeah, I don't know. Have you ever seen like, you ever seen? I mean, like the Honey Badger that's over there, made by Q, or
sweet gun, jeez,
Noveski stuff. I mean, these are two $2,500 AR pistols, and they sell like hotcakes, man. There's always somebody out there with the money that's going to want it. So I suppose if you go look on Gunbroker, there's probably not a lot of those Wilson Combat Rangers for sale either, if any at all. So I don't know.
You want to go hog wild on an AR high powered? I forget the name of the company that made some, but they made 2 versions of a high-powered AR platform rifle, and that is a 7mm Remington Magnum and a 300 Winchester Magnum.
I'm telling you, man, if they can get it to feed rounds, they'll make an AR in that caliber and that platform.
Yeah.
So if it's possible, there was a company called like Gorilla Arms or something like that, and they were one of the ones that made a lot of those traditional centerfire hunting cartridge calibers. They would make them in an AR platform, and they were very expensive. They were like $3,000.
Oh, yeah.
We've talked about them before, so. But you got to pay to play, man. You got to pay to play.
That's right.
Just put it on your credit card. Man. There you go. So I'm not making fun of it. I'd buy one of those in a heartbeat just because they're cool. Why not? Just because you can, So anyway, guys, well, we're going to wrap it up. We've gone through the ballistics, the history. We've looked at the rifles, and we're going to go ahead and call it. So again, this has just been a little discussion of 243, its ballistics importance and so on as part of our hunting history, and then also just what it has to offer. So I think we'll go ahead and call it. So Hillbilly, we'll start off with you. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for having me on here, Travis. I really enjoyed it. It's a blast every time, and always great topics and a lot of knowledge on here, man. I learn every time I get on here, You
soak it up. You leave and your brain is just like fried, like you just took the ACT, Like, yeah. Man. And then there's guys like Kingpin that put bad ideas in your head, like taking a hacksaw to your 243.
just 1 inch at a time, though. Yeah.
I'm gonna make that bad boy down to a 10-inch. By the way, just whatever we talk about doing, it might skirt your local laws or your federal laws. So just don't listen to us. So I don't want the liability from it. So but no, I appreciate having you here. And like I said, I usually don't post the topics till later on in the week because I generally don't know what we're going to cover. But episode 243, it had to be 243 Winchester. It had to be. We never discussed it before, so we'll figure out what we'll talk about. Maybe we'll talk about like oddball ARs next week. What's out there that people maybe can buy if they want, but maybe don't. I don't know. So there's a lot of
episode
it's kind of fun.
243. We discussed 243. I can't wait till episode 500 when you bring out.
Oh my God! Yeah, episode 336, episode 270, episode. It makes it easier. I'll just take if there's a caliber. Somebody's probably gonna say, "Well, there's 244 Ruger. Why don't you talk about that?" Because we've discussed a lot of calibers and stuff, and they're fun to discuss. But so I try to vary up the content a little bit for everybody. So. Hillbilly, appreciate having you here, guys. Make sure you check out the Hillbilly Up channel, American Hillbilly. A lot of good stuff, and protecting America. How can you say it? One White Claw at a time? How do we want to?
Yeah, we're trying to get rid of all the hard seltzer.
It's open season on hard seltzer on his channel. So
I mean. It's like I always tell my buddies, you're gonna come over drinking a White Claw, put you on some yoga pants or something,
Yeah, just turn them away at the door, Just turn them away at the door. So
I would like to plug a video we're actually going to shoot this evening. Is my son-in-law just got out of boot camp and wearing my Army hat today, and so he got to come home for a very short time. So. Him and my daughter, they're packing up and moving to Colorado, Fort Carson out there. And so I'm really excited. We're going to be shooting a video today with him. And he had a lot of interesting stuff to say after he got out of boot camp.
I can't imagine. Yeah. But he made it, and that's the most important thing. And that's something to be proud of. So he's going to.
Oh, of course.
They go on to the advanced training after this point. Is that what he's going to be doing? Is that the next step or?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Good deal, man. Cool.
Awesome. But anyway, like I said, if anybody has a YouTube channel or something out there that I have not seen, or whatever, man, let me know because I'm all about finding new channels. There's so much great content out there that the algorithm just does not push up for some reason, and it's hard to find, And so I found so much great content. Just by sharing and collaboration with people, and I just love it. So
I know sometimes I'll get a channel recommendation and I'll click on it. It's a channel I've never heard of before, and the channel's it's a gun channel. It'll have like 200,000 or 300,000 subs. It's like, where have these guys been? How have I never seen this one before? And there's it's interesting, and you want to make sure that you stay active with those channels that you subscribe to. Make sure you got the bell mash. Make sure you thumbs up. Make sure you leave comments so that you get the new content pushed across to your phone or your mobile device or your computer. So very cool. And Kingpin did post a link to your channel out there, guys. Get over to Hillbilly Up channel and click on that link and like and subscribe. A lot of fun content over there. And look forward to
Well,
seeing that
thank
video.
you.
When is that
Thank
video
you.
gonna air that you're filming? Is that gonna go out? Is it gonna be? You're gonna put it up on tomorrow on YouTube on your channel?
No, it'll probably be not next week, but the following week.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
We try to post at least once a week, but
Okay.
you know, I have to kind of spread this out because, well, everybody can know the weather. You know, it's just, yeah, you might have 2 weeks that you can't hardly film anything. You know.
Oh yeah, we've got heat wave. I keep getting heat wave notifications on my computer at the bottom. So we're supposed to be 101, and then with the heat index, which I think it just gives people something to complain about and weathermen something to talk about. But the heat index is like, it was like 120 the other day, 112 I think for today. So it's just not pleasant to be out, especially if you're trying to walk the dog. Or I'm always looking for shade midday. If I can't find shade, I'm not going out.
Exactly.
It's one thing to work out in it all day and sweat and just be in it, and it's another just to go out briefly. You know, it just makes you not want to go out. So
yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how to put air conditioning at the gun range.
oh man, there you go. Go find an indoor range that has air conditioning, and it's such a unique experience. We've got a place here in Nebraska called the Nebraska Outdoor Education Center, and it's a range, and it's fully climate controlled, and it's just wonderful. No insects, no wind, no dust, just a nice cool breeze over the back of your head while you're shooting. You know, it's just like, oh my god, you walk in there, it's amazing.
There.
And it's only it's only like, I think it's like $5 an hour on Fridays.
Oh, wow.
Otherwise, it's $10 an hour, and I think they've got all these couple specials and kids specials, and you can buy a membership. They also have an indoor archery setup too in a Quonset that they built. I don't know if that's air conditioned, but they do competitions there and classes. Wow, so we got a lot of it's nice going into a nice cool air conditioned range. It's just like, yeah, this is way too good for me. So yep. X Adam 1 says it's 109 degrees without the heat index over here 2 days ago. X Adam 1, I can't remember. Are you down in Texas? I was down in Wiley this summer helping my buddy move, and it was like 103, and I was melting. All I know is I was just drenched the whole day. Once you get drenched, it doesn't matter anymore. So, yep. Tommy Gunn says my range is climate controlled. It's so nice. Tommy, it's got to be. You're up in Canada, man. Otherwise, you'd only be able to film like a couple months out of the year or so. And I've done the 0 to 15 degree Fahrenheit filming, and it's not fun. So, yeah. But you got to get out there and make that content. So. All right. So anyway, Hillbilly, glad to have you with us. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you joining in. And then, like I said, I'm taking a break from the Thursday shows for a while with work starting back up again. We'll start them up at some point when things slow down, but we'll keep doing a Saturday show as much as we can, and we'll go from there. So,
all right.
Awesome. Cool, man. All right. Single shot. Anything you want to say before we go?
Well, we're proceeding here. I'm fixing to get on to I-84 here and headed out to I-81. 243 is a nice caliber. You know, I load for it. I shoot it in that Encore pistol barrel, and it's done fairly well there so far. I got to work with it a little bit more, you know, to get everything fine tuned. But 60, 75, 90 grain bullets right in that neighborhood seem to work pretty well in that barrel. So we're going to keep on playing with that. But the next thing that we're going to be working with, though, is that 6.5 Creedmoor with those cast bullets. So we'll try to get some content going there. If I can get a weekend that I don't have to put just about a full day into mowing around the house there. So everybody take care. God bless. Be safe. America moves by truck. Thanks for the invite.
No problem, man. And if you don't believe it doesn't move by truck, just check your store shelves. I love when you said that last time. I was like, this is so true. This is so true. No, man, I appreciate having you here, and I look forward to seeing those videos on 6.5 Creedmoor. That'll be awesome. All right. Also joining us today, Kingpin. Any final words of wisdom before we go? Anything you want to promote or push or let people know about?
No, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Well, yeah, Rick over at Rick's Life will have a show at 3 o'clock today Eastern, the only time zone that matters. And then G23 out there is going to have his show at 6 p.m. Eastern tonight.
So 5 o'clock Central Time. And what'd you say? Rick's is what, 3 Eastern?
Yeah.
2 Central. So let Rick know that I'm going to do another Beans and Toast video. I'm going to do a part 2. I keep having all these British people giving me all these suggestions for how I should have made the beans and toast. So I'm going to go get another can, and I'm going to do another British beans and toast video. It's on my B channel, by the way, Coffee, Computers, and More. So if you guys haven't seen it, I tested British baked beans. Yes.
You gotta do a Welsh rabbit review.
Oh my gosh, where am I going to find a Welsh rabbit? I mean, there's not even any rabbits in my neighborhood.
You have to call it grilled cheese a bunch of times, and then after and then you have to send the link to Rick, and when he types in big bold letters, it's on toast in the comment section, you have to make a video about that too.
Oh my gosh, I'm going to see. I love rabbit. I grew up eating it. My grandparents were Czech immigrants, so there was a lot of, well, pretty much whatever the kids brought home is what was on the dinner table. My dad and his brothers and my grandpa and them would go hunt. We ate a lot of that. Pheasant, rabbit, dove. I mean, yeah, rabbit is very good.
You have to double check when we get the Squibby shout out, and I'm also going to do a whole bunch of shout out videos for Squib this week too.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Welsh rabbit is just the British way of saying grilled cheese, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I thought it actually was real rabbit.
No.
So and see, this terminology confuses me. Like it said on the can.
Don't make any sense.
That would make a good video though, where you do Welsh rabbit, where you actually eat. You have some Hassan pepper, and then you'd be like, "Oh, my bad."
So I thought you said Welsh rabbit, so I went and bought a rabbit at the local market, and I gave it a Welsh cream sauce, and so. Yeah, like on the can of the Heinz beans from the UK, it says warm up your beans on the hob. I was like, what's a hob, man? Like, I had to look it up online. It turns out that it's a stovetop. So I warmed up my beans on the hob, which was pretty cool. So, but yeah, I got to do a part 2 because everybody was telling me you got to butter the toast. You got to put grated cheese on it. There's a special like sauce that they sell that goes really good on it. So I got to try to find that. So I'm just, gosh, too much going on. Patriot in the Dark says, Welsh rabbit isn't rabbit, LOL. How am I supposed to know this? Why would you call grilled cheese Welsh rabbit? That makes no sense whatsoever. It's probably something offensive. I'm probably ticking off the Welsh people right now.
Well, that's what I forgot to mention. You got too comfortable in the conversation. You forgot the Europeans are messed up. And yes, British or Europeans, British and the French are the same thing, just like the Canadians. All of them are all the same.
There's just a body of water that separates them. That's all it is. You
just forgot that they're insane over there, Travis. It happened.
So New York Outcast says, if you really want to get Rick going, put beans in mac and cheese. Do they call it mac and cheese? I mean, I know up in Canada, Kraft mac and cheese is sold as Kraft dinner. So, I mean, I should do mac and cheese on the side, like American style mac. Just throw the margarine in there and the skim milk and just make that box of Kraft up and then just put the beans right next to it. Just mix it all together. So I love these ideas.
At the end of the video, make sure you say, hey, Rick, stay safe.
Okay.
Take care.
I'm thinking about doing this now. Thanks, Outcast.
What are you going to do? Are you going to do the mac and cheese
beans and mac and cheese? Why not?
Yeah, you got to get the British beans, though, Squib. I should have sent you home with a can of the Heinz beans from the UK.
I had them one time, and I don't remember what they taste like. I know they've got a section at our local, at all the Meijer grocery stores that has the British food. I've actually shown Rick on a live feed before, and like the steak sauce does not taste like A1, right? And stuff like that.
It's like AP or HP sauce or something like that. There's a certain type that I need to go get. So, the Heinz beans, they have more of a tomato, like a tomato juice flavor to the sauce. Yeah. Less sweet, less kind of camp style like we do here. We're more of a barbecue style.
I tried them a long time ago, and I watched your video, and I'm like, yeah, I think that's what I remember about them too. It's been a long time.
It almost tastes like the SpaghettiOs, tomatoes, kind of tangy sauce is what they really remind me of. But yeah, I got to go back and I'm going to do like a 3-stage. I'll do the beans with the butter toast, and then I'll do the beans and toast with grated cheese, and then I'll go do the cheese and sauce. Somebody said put an egg on it. I might have to do an egg on. I might do like a 4-stage beans and toast, taste test. So. But that video is getting pretty good traction. I'm getting a lot of fun feedback from people that are enjoying it, just because I gave it one of those clickbaity titles, like an American tries British baked beans for the first time, which literally is what it was. But titles like that tend to work well, so that's why I used it. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to go get myself another can today, I think. The other thing that's really good, and I know we're totally off topic here, but the other thing that's really good is the lemon Fanta, which is not normally available in the USA. It's totally different than the Fantas that are made for the US market. It's almost like a Fresca kind of taste. It's like a fruit juice lemon soda that's just amazing. Lemon Fanta is the bomb. So that's Squid. The next time you come by, I'm going to send you home with some of these items, and you'll be pleasantly surprised with how good they are. So, yep. Okay, Kingpin, thanks for joining us. Squib, we will give you the final word.
I just had one question about 243.
Yes.
I've never shot it. I'm not against the caliber at all. I've got brass for it that I've picked up in case one day I start reloading and whatnot. I probably won't get into it, but 243, 6.5 Creedmoor. They both are hard hitting and flat shooting. Why would I pick one over the other?
The 6.5 Creedmoor has better terminal ballistics past 300 yards. It delivers more energy past 300 yards. 243 starts to run out of steam, especially like terminal ballistics getting below like 700 foot-pounds of energy past 300 yards, where 6.5 Creedmoor it has a tendency to, like, 6.5 Creedmoor is so fast and so efficient. It's basically defying gravity and, you know, delivering a punch down range that in my opinion outguns 308 and 243. We can argue that till we're blue in the face, but if you just look at terminal ballistics in the end, that's one of the things about 6.5 Creedmoor that makes it such a draw for people. I think it's that potential for what it can do is the reason why so many guys are 6.5 Creedmoor fans, even though they may not be taking game out past 500 yards. It's the fact that it can, and it is so, especially when you get out past 1,000 yards. It's I can't remember at what point it starts to come out of supersonic. I want to say I could be wrong on this. It depends on the load. Like, it won't start coming out of supersonic until like 700 or 800 yards. It's just that wicked of a round. So, but if you're for practical hunting purposes, 300 yards or less, you're going to be fine with 243.
Okay,
I mean,
now that explains it in kind of real world terminology to me. So Northern Michigan, where I can use a bottleneck cartridge, and you're probably not going to take a shot over 300 yards.
Yeah.
243 would do just fine. Out there, shoot. If I went hunting with Sandhill shooter, 6.5 Creedmoor might be a necessity.
Well, that's why a lot of guys just do your Remington mag calibers, like your 7 millimeter, this and that, and your 30-06 is a very popular round because a guy might be doing a shot at 400 yards, and you're talking about a pretty good size 250-pound buck or more. You know, you want to make sure you drop it, because at 300 or 400 yards you can lose it. I mean, if you don't drop it as soon as possible, it can make it to the creek and it can float down river. I mean, there's a lot of variables that happen. The other thing too with the 243, less recoil than 30-30, felt recoil, and then performance-wise very similar to 30-30. But, you know, for a lot of guys, it's a lighter rifle platform, the 243 bolt action, and just a lighter shooting round in general. And so that lighter recoil could be a big deal for, not that you can't train your kid to run your 308, but I'm just saying that getting little kids into hunting, 243 is a super popular cartridge with the younger crowd. So that's why a lot of kids, it was their first round when they were getting into hunting. So yeah. And then spread of ammo. I mean, there's so many different grain weights and brands and bullet types. I mean, you can really, you know, tailor what you want for your hunt and get around that's really going to work well with it. Like I said, the only problem we have here in Nebraska is a lot of those rounds sell out during hunting season. So that's something you can run into, but that's just kind of a Nebraska problem. So Defense Dad says, I'm good. I got to work today. Cool. So yeah, Squibs, answer the question.
Yes,
I think so.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
No,
and
that
and
was really the. If somebody would say, "What do you think of 243?" I've talked to people who hunt. They say it's a flat shooter and it'll drop a deer. Other than that, I don't really know anything about it. But here's my thing: why would you pick this over this? You know, unless you just wanted two guns. But you just explained it. Now it makes sense. And if you try to work within the terrain and the hunting laws of this particular state, one might be more practical over the other. Or if you're going, well, this one's $100 more than this, or ammo for this is more than this, or I've already got this, and then it might be a judgment call where you're going, why waste the money? Or yeah, I gotta have both. You know what I mean? So that explains it in a way I can understand it. Thank you.
And then in many states, 243 is the minimum centerfire cartridge you can use to hunt deer with. I think in 10 states, it's 243 and greater. So that's another reason why people end up having to buy it, I guess you could say. And it also delivers that terminal energy at certain yardages that are required by law for medium-sized game to large-sized game. So that's another reason why it's such popular. And it's also based off the 308 parent case. So from a reloading standpoint, if you've got the 308 brass, you can neck it down for your 243. I'm not sure exactly what it's going to take. If it's just a die difference that makes it work, but 308's a parent case, which is why it gets such a good performance, because there's so much room behind it for all that powder. So that's another part of it too. So yeah. All right, guys, I think we'll go ahead and call it. Let's give a little shout out on the YouTube side. Foos was with us earlier. So Foos, thanks for being here, man. I do appreciate it. Out there in the chat, we had Defense Dad and Squiblift and Hillbilly Up and Phantom of Anarchy. And let's see, Kingpin, Tommy Gunn, New York Outcast was out there. Kevin Jooms watching today. Patriot in the Dark. Ski 330, G23. Gunmetal Guy USA. X Adam 1. Let's see, Squibload out there and over here. Quist Winzet's also out there watching. Lakeview Outdoors is out there. Tony York joining in today. I think Fluffy 10mm Jeep Guy was out there. G-Webs was out there. He said, thank you for hosting every week. Hey, man, I do what I can when I can. So it's always good to have a show out there for people to watch. If I didn't miss anybody, that was earlier. Moo was out there. Two-Lie Moo was joining in. Mystic Guns. Airgun 1776, thank you for watching. Again, giving a shout out to people that are watching on the YouTube side. I do promote these over on Facebook. I don't know what kind of a response I get from people, but I do try to push these out there on different groups that I belong to on Facebook also. Mountain View's out there also. So Mountain View, he did say I tried to get a family member to buy a 243 as his first rifle. We live in Virginia. Gun shop owner talked him out of it. He bought a 270. He flinches so bad, LOL. 270 is going to have a little more kick than a 243, but like I said, 300 yards and less, you can have your, if you prefer a 270 because it's what you've always used, there's nothing wrong with that. But 243 is going to be totally adequate too. So I think that's about it. Tony York out there watching today this morning. And anyway, so this has been episode 243, season 5. Guys, make sure you like and subscribe and mash that bell. And again, I'll keep putting a lot of content out there. At a minimum, I put a video out every week, not counting Caliber Corner. So make sure you check the channel and check the video list. I've always got something fun coming up. And yeah, I got a lot of great videos coming out. If you support me over on Patreon, you get to see the videos early, and then about a week or two later, they air over on YouTube. So I'm going to be getting pretty busy here for the next couple of weeks. So you might not see me as much, but we'll keep doing our Patreon patron drawings. We'll keep putting out great content for you. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to everybody on this panel. And I think that's it. So everybody, yeah, stay cool, stay hydrated, eat a salad, and we'll talk to you next week. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.